Pikeville City Manager's Report. I'm your host, Jill Fraley-Dotson, along with Pikeville City Manager Donovan Blackburn. A time each week when we get together to discuss the great new happenings in and around the city of Pikeville. Donovan, good day to you.
Jill, good day.
How are you?
Oh, I'm just wonderful.
I know you've been very, very busy.
That's an understatement.
We have a whole list of things that we're going to talk about this morning, but we had a lot of information last time, and some of the things that we're going to talk about today are going to recap and then add in addition to everything we spoke about the last time. But let's talk about Thompson Road, shall we? The big retail development that we're very excited to see coming. If you've driven past that area, you know that there's a lot of work being done right now.
And I agree, Jill. First of all, there is so much going on right now, and there's some things we'll talk about here in a minute that I am really excited about. You know, the commission's been working extremely hard on many different projects. The Thompson's Road project is, I know there's a lot of interest in the community. Last week I had the opportunity of sitting down with Neil Wilson. He came into the market and we had lunch last week, went and reviewed the development. He actually brought his banker in, who's out of Wisconsin, Chicago area, up in Wisconsin as well. And it's and I will get it wrong, so I'm not going to say it, but they're connected with a local bank as well. So they've been, because of the size of this development, it's a $44 million investment in the community. But you know, I had a lot of questions as well, because Neil and I, as we've talked, he's been extremely busy. He told me this past week, currently he has over $200 million worth of projects going on with his company, and another $500 million that is slated to start soon. And the reason I bring that up is that he's a hard man anymore to get a hold of. Mm-hmm. But we had a great conversation, spent a couple of hours together talking about the new Thompson's Road development on Justice Way behind Walmart. If anybody doesn't know where it's at, the Pikeville Commons.
Whatever you want to call it, it is coming.
We'll call it under construction is what we'll call it.
We will.
And things are moving quite rapidly. But you know, some of the things that we talked about, and as the folks listening or watching may not know, and I know we've talked about it several times, my past background was retail, and as a district manager for Lowe's, when I served in that capacity, I dealt with a lot of these new developments in helping plan on the other end. And I only bring that up is because as Neil and I sat and started talking about dates, I was somewhat taken back by it, but I had to recall on my old days with Lowe's to say that it certainly makes sense. Now, what the number one question that I'm being asked is when's it gonna, when's it gonna start? Now it's when's it gonna be done or completed, and when are we gonna be able to shop? Realty Link is doing this in two different developments. Let me start out by saying that. The first intent is to finish the post office. If you're driving down Thompson's Road now, you'll notice that there's a new brick building in the front of the property, and it's been under construction. They started it first. The reason they started it first, and it looks like it's nearing completion more so than all the steel that's going up behind it is because they have to move the old post office out into the new building in order to demolish the existing building. So now, my amazement is that the timeline that they are on. And I put this disclaimer out there, Jill, that this is the developer's timeline and not my timeline. So if he doesn't meet it, don't be mad. Don't shoot the messenger.
Right.
Yeah, call him. And from the banker's standpoint is that they're under some contractual obligations that if he doesn't meet his timeline, he stands to lose. He'll be penalized by some of the tenants, and then he also stands to lose some rent. So the reason I again put that out there is that's pretty typical in this type of field, because a lot of retailers, they plan their openings based on a quarterly basis. So, you know, for example, everybody knows Hobby Lobby's coming. Hobby Lobby will usually open 4 times a year. They'll do it all at the same time, and the reason they do it that way is it's actually savings to a retailer to do it that way, because if they've got 10 grand openings across the nation, they can use the same commercial or the same advertising theme and just air it in different markets using the same dates, and at the bottom tagline it is opening on this date in this market. So a lot of retailers, again, and it also impacts their quarterly earnings, because when they're reporting to Wall Street or their investors, they know when they're going to have a spike in sales based upon new stores. So again, just some technical stuff from the background. So with all that said, the post office, though the top will still be under construction, the bottom of the post office is scheduled to be completed by the first part of July, allowing them to move over. The strip center itself, there is 2 phases of the strip center. And if you look at the post office and looking behind the post office, you'll see a lot of steel going up. And if you look under the first bit of steel, you'll see almost a couple of hundred bathtubs is what I thought was amazing. A bunch of shower stalls, and I thought it was funny when I went up the other day and looked at it. But the apartments, just to confirm, I asked them for sure where are we at on the apartments, how many apartments are you building? 4-story complex, and if you'll notice on the back side of the post office, there's a big tower looking unit. That is the stairwell that fills or that leads to the 4 levels of apartments, okay? 4-story facility. When it's completed, it'll be 175 apartments. I think we've been talking around 160 some range, but it's 175 apartments, of which the first phase of the first 68 apartments, he told me, was supposed to be completed by the end of July and the 1st of August. Yes, I had the same look. And the reason being is that, of course, they're using AAA Realty to lease out these apartments. AAA has, my understanding, according to Neil, they have close to 100 contracts already signed, and they're not even started. That was before they started construction. Mm-hmm. But the first 68 units, I think it was either 64 or 68, it's in the 60s. Again, I put a disclaimer out there. People are supposed to start being able to move in August. So,
so they have to get it done, or they'll stand to lose that
revenue and those
revenue.
And what would happen is there's some language he told me that's in the contract that if they're not completed, they understand, but the tenants may have to move in a little bit later, but the tenant would be let out of their lease that they've already signed if they haven't met that contractual obligation. So they're working feverishly in order to get those first units completed. So again, you can look July or August, and from the banker's standpoint, obviously they want them finished sooner than later because they want the revenue that's going to pay the note on the property. So again, that's the left-hand side, and as where the strip center is, where the new brick building is being built by the post office. Once the building is built, the post office piece, and that'll be done first, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. The new post office, or the old post office, will then move in. Once that move is completed, they'll demolish that building. But you'll notice if you drive, not that I'm advocating it, but if you drive in behind Walmart, you'll see that they have brought the upper property, the riverbank, down to flood level, 1 foot above the flood level. So what you see is taking dirt out, and then on the lower level, putting dirt in, bringing that up so that it's all 1 foot above the national floodplain. Again, the reason, I know it's technical stuff, but it's somewhat important because in order to get the foundation ready, you have to be at that level. So if you drive behind Walmart and you look over, you'll notice that there's several areas that is all smooth and they've been rolling it and compacting it in. That's because they're starting construction either at the end of this week, first of next week. The first store being built is the new Hobby Lobby. Yeah.
Very good.
So
that was the kind of reaction you were looking for.
That's what I was looking for.
And I say that because a lot of people,
yes,
along with the other places that are coming in too, not to discount them at all because they're very popular in Marshalls and Dress Barn and things of that nature, but so many people travel outside of our area to get to a Hobby Lobby. It is amazing to me. Not just ladies, but men too, who go with their wives.
That's right.
Or significant others to travel to Hobby Lobby, but that is the one thing that's being built and will bring so many people to our area.
Well, and the beauty of it is, again, keeping people local to be able to shop, giving them the experience. That was always the City Commission's vision, is not just to give it to any developer. We want to brand name national brands to where you don't have to travel to Kingsport, Johnson City, Charleston, and Lexington. You can stay home and invest those dollars in your own community. What you're really going to love me over is because I know you've been very questioning me every time that we talk,
very
Jill,
vocal
about Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby, Hobby Lobby.
Just
I hear.
doing my job.
You do very well. But is the date, and the date, and what I mean by that is that the date of opening is not only the day of construction, is the day of
importance. I'm waiting. Go ahead.
Here we go. Drum roll, please. According to what the developer is telling me, and don't shoot the messenger if it's not spot on, but he's telling me he has to be there because of the contractual obligations, is that the Hobby Lobby will be built, not open, but built by the end of August.
The end of August?
End of August. It takes 3 months to build a Hobby Lobby.
Wow.
So the foundation's already ready for them to start. And typically the way that developers work, and again, factual because that's what we did, is that the developer will come in, he'll buy the property, which is what he did. We put the parameters on it of what our expectations was. We want it retail, housing, they have to start by a certain date, all that was in place. But then what happens is that he builds his development company and he lets out and builds the strip center and the apartments.
Right.
The right-hand side, which is the national chains, he then gets the property ready, and most of the national chains has their own construction company that comes in because they're cookie cutter approaches. They know what wall goes where, they know how the electrical system, so they have their own companies coming in doing that. So there's really 3 different construction companies that will be on site working simultaneously in order to get this project completed. So the right-hand side of the development, again, the whole strip center, is all supposed to be completed by the end of August 27th as a matter of fact, to turn over the keys to the Marshalls, the Rack Room, the Alta, in order for them to start setup. Typically, and I'm not sure what Hobby Lobby's theme is, but it typically takes a retailer anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks. It took Lowe's, when I worked for them, it took us 6 weeks to put all the racks up, to merchandise the store, and then actually have the soft opening.
They also have to go through a hiring phase, I would imagine, to get the appropriate staff in here.
I'm glad you said that. So if you'll go onto Hobby Lobby's website, you let me right into that. If you go to Hobby Lobby's website, they currently have postings accepting applications for the Pikeville store and especially the new store manager. So again, you can go onto hobbylobby.com and look at the new store comings. And the last time I looked, which was about a week and a half ago, they didn't have the store opening date on yet. They just said coming and that they were accepting applications. But based on and they, according to Neil, they wanted to make sure that the pad was going to be handed over, which was supposed to be handed over this week. So my understanding is it has been and it will be, and it'll start, their construction company will start moving in and starting the actual pouring of the slab and the foundation and the building walls. So you'll start seeing the walls go up, which I know everybody's excited to see. So they're doing a lot of different things simultaneously. They're, again, removing the excess dirt, filling in the compaction, trying to finish the post office. Once the post office is moved over, they'll take down the other building, and there's some, not as big as a Hobby Lobby store, but there'll be some other larger buildings built as part of all that. But again, the right-hand side of the strip center is supposed to be completed by the August 27th. And I was told if they may be a week or 2 behind. If they are, it's going to cost them some money because they'll be fined by the different retailers. But everything's moving according to plan. And,
so safe to say that the entire right side will be open for business before the Christmas season starts.
That's where I was going with it a moment ago, is that, so if you're talking the end of August, September, you're talking about more than likely an October opening, which is perfect going into the holiday season. That's typically when everybody starts their Christmas shopping, and if you're putting up your tree in November around, my wife, she liked to put it up November 1st. She loves Christmas and very, very festive. But going into usually around Thanksgiving, everything should definitely be open by then, according to the developer. So you're seeing a lot of activity on the site. The left-hand side of the strip center, according to him, and I don't have the specific names, we didn't get into that. I was more interested in the date so that I could share with the public, because I'm being asked when or is it going to be completed now. But he's signed another small restaurant, is my understanding, a jewelry store, some national brands. So left-hand side, he said, is starting to fill in. He does have still some openings in the strip center. So it's all coming together, and when it opens, I think it'll be, as a matter of fact, I had somebody contact me today wanting to know how to get up with the developer that was on a national brand that wanted to know how they could become part of this. So good things are happening with the development. I thought everybody would be excited to know the dates and when the projected openings will be.
Earlier than I expected. I think that's great. And a lot of people, and like I said before too, a lot of people are excited about it, but to have that and those type of retailers here before the Christmas season starts, to not have to leave your hometown and to have other people come into our area, that just pumps up everything in our economy. So great news.
Oh, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
That is
what's
just
to come,
the
Jill.
tip of the iceberg. It certainly is. Let's move on. So excited to announce that Pikeville has been named a 2014 Playful City USA Community. This is something that we should be very proud of.
Absolutely. One of the visions, even when I started 10 years ago, that the commission had then, And nobody can dispute they've done an absolutely wonderful job. If you look at the city park, if you look at the walk trails, you look at all the improvements at Bob Amos Park. Jill, when I started, again, 11 events scheduled in 2003 in the city park. This year we'll have over 300. There was a couple of $1 million that was spent in the park to put upgrading the gazebo and all the new playground equipment that was in the park. And then if you look up at Bob Amos Park, we did a little upgrades at the mini park down at Hamley Complex, a couple of $1 million spent down at Hamley, improving those facilities. And then when you go up to Bob Amos Park, the new sidewalk, the walk trail, the soccer field, the special needs park, the RV park, the new walk trails, the cross-country trails, the upper level,
the zip line that's coming,
the horses, and now the zip line that's coming. All that has happened over the last 8 years. Mm-hmm. So, and there is some new announcements that will be made in the near future that we're working on that I can't discuss just quite yet. We like putting those teasers out there.
Yeah.
But there is just so many wonderful things happen in and around this community and the city that I just can't. I'm just to the point of almost being giddy, and that's a word my wife said I shouldn't use, but I'm to that point now. And this is another great prestigious honor, and we have so many great relationships with different partners that have made this happen. Hillbilly Christmas in July, the university, local Boy Scouts, and just a lot of great things that are happening with our park system, our trail system. Betty and our new partner with the zip line, and hopefully our new partner with the water trails that is coming. So a lot of great things happening.
Certainly so. Now, another thing we do want to announce is that we're working on Pikeville being named a trail town, which is going to be one other great benefit.
Well, it's typically about a year's process to bestow this great honor. There's only a few trail towns in the entire state of Kentucky. Elkhorn City is also pursuing becoming a trail town, which is great because, again, that brings tourism into our area. Both having two communities in a very short proximity, being able to be named, and Elkhorn and the Breaks is just an unbelievable market for tourists, and having this trail town, naming it a trail town is just another great asset and another great tool in our arsenal when we are promoting tourism. So again, we appreciate our partnership with the University of Pikeville. They're a major partner in this and helping us with all the different components we have to have. And let's move on, and I'll talk about another announcement here in a minute when we get closer to the end.
I do want to mention Artist Collaborative Theater. They're going to be doing their production of Little Shop of Horrors, and it's one of the greatest movies. I love to watch the movie, and their adaptation of it is going to be fantastic.
It is, and I don't want to spoil it for them, but anybody listening to this, you need to buy your tickets to go see this production. Yes. Buy them now, because I'm telling you, once word gets out of what this production is going to consist of, people are going to show up, and you may not get a ticket. But this is going to be a great production. And like yourself, I love, it's one of my favorite TV shows. I've got a couple of nieces that are participants in the ACT theater, and they've had many great productions. But the costumes and some things that are part of this set, people are going to be absolutely, I got a little sneak peek from my nieces the other day, are going to be amazed with. But the storyline, it's a PG-13 storyline, funny storyline, a lot of music. But I urge you, it's going to be a great production. Another wonderful production by the Artist Collaborative Theater. So head up to Elkhorn, get your tickets, and see this production.
You better get your tickets early, because they will go very quickly. If you drive down Hamley Boulevard, you will know that we have a big, beautiful new building right across from Hardee's and the Blue Goose Gym, and that is the Scholar House. The ribbon cutting for that facility was held earlier this week, and a lot of great things happening there. Beautiful pictures of the facility and what it looks like, and I don't know if residents have started moving in yet, but I know that will be very soon. Samantha Rogers doing a great job as the director of that facility, and what a beautiful building too.
Well, I mean, it's absolutely a gorgeous building, and it's really added a lot to the landscape. And Jake Brown with Marion Development is the developer of this project. And just to give the folks a little history on this, Jill, it's amazing how many partners came together to make this project happen. This started by Paul Patton, Governor Patton. At that time, he was the president of the university. hearing about this facility in Louisville. And he came and called up myself and Judge Rutherford and said he wanted to meet with us on this. And then he went to his vice president at the time, who's now the president, President Hurley, and told him about this. Well, Hurley's wife, Tina, who's a wonderful lady, they went to Louisville and they viewed this, and Tina fell in love with this and said, James, you're going to get this done. So James called me up and Dr. Hurley, and they called me up after Governor Pat and I had already had discussions with Paul and said, what can the university do to make this thing work? So we formed a partnership, is the way I'll place it, between the county, the city, the university, the Big Sandy Technical Community College, and then some other partners, the YMCA and the local family center and others that came on board with it. But we took a trip to Louisville to visit the Louisville Scholar House. And unfortunately, when most of the group went, I was tied to another meeting. I was unable to go, but I was able to go down shortly after, a couple of weeks after that the original group went down, and a couple of people kind of trickled in. But what they did was they took me down and they took me through their facility, which looks almost identical to this, a little different layout, but identical to this. And I had the opportunity of not only touring the facility, but they took me to a room of one of the students, and they left me alone with her to spend about an hour. And and I get a little choked up, and I'm because my wife tells me I'm not too emotional, but every time I think about this story of what this Scholar House does for this community and this people's life, I can't help it. I sat there and listened to a lady that had a very tough life and had actually given up on herself. And she had a small 9-month-old child and had been through some very turbulent times with her boyfriend. And to explain it, what the Scholar House is it is a facility that allows a high school student, well, not just a high school student, somebody that is an unwed parent, could be a male or female, doesn't matter. They cater to either or, but who has custody of a child that wants to pursue their education to get a degree in order to go on to provide for a family. So what you have, or their family. So what you have is somebody that is traditionally a high school student, normally, that comes out of high school, that has a child, and someone, I won't say no hope, but is now in the cycle, statistically, of being on government subsidy, of having to rely upon feeding their child with government help, or settling for a minimum wage position to be able to support their family, and never pursuing the education. So in essence, and I don't mean it negatively in any sense, it's just a straight line on it, becomes somewhat a liability to the community because of the subsidies in trying to raise the family. Mm-hmm. What this program does is it gives that same person not only hope, but a great opportunity. It is a leg up, not a handout. And what it does is it places them in a wonderful, magnificent apartment facility, provides daycare for them, has several requirements that are very difficult. They have to maintain a certain grade point average. You can't have, you have to be single. You're not allowed to have people stay over with you. There's part of a work program. There's a lot of different components that this student has to sign and agree to be a part of the program. But then what it does is it allows, because of daycare and all these other components, it allows that parent to pursue their education and to graduate and become a young entrepreneur in our community. And it gives hope. And one of the stories that was told over the other day, if you drive by the facility, you'll notice that all the levels have different colored doors. And the reason for that, I love the story behind it, is the reason behind that is because most of the kids that are caught up in this cycle, they're usually in a lot of times in poverty. They a lot of times are moved from a grandparent's house to an uncle's house, or they're moved frequently, and in a lot of cases to the homeless shelter. Mm-hmm. And the child never has a sense of belonging, a place of their own. So what this facility is now, what it has created, is each door color is different on each level. So what that child is able to now say is, I live on the first floor with the red door. I live on the second floor with the blue door. And he's the only person, or she's the only person with a blue door on the second story. It gives a sense of ownership, of this is mine. So it gives a child some sense of stability and calmness, and then it puts them in a social setting that they can develop their skills as well. So I mean, it's just a unbelievable facility. Now this, the city, I go back to in 2004 when I started this program, or with the city. The Kentucky Avenue project was under construction at that time. We took over that project, hadn't been completed when I came on in 2004. The city commission at that time created an urban renewal project, and for those of us that grew up in this community, remember what the old Kentucky Avenue and the High Street, what it looked like. A impoverished area that was, a lot of the homes were blighted. So the city went in and created an urban renewal, went through condemnation of a lot of those property and turned it into what it is today, which is a beautiful, the Kentucky Avenue is a beautiful project to where Section 8 type housing that gives people hope and a chance and an opportunity for housing. So, and that facility ties into the university. So then what happened in 2004 when I came on, the commission said we had run out of funds and we were unable to acquire the remaining properties. There were, I can't remember, around 12, 13 properties that was on through old High Street onto Sad Avenue. So the city acquired all those properties. We found some grant money that was left over and was able to acquire those property and create that large tract of, again, somewhat urban blight properties. And what we were able to do was create a large piece of property. And we were then approached by the Scholar House, and being a partner, we were able to offer that property at somewhat of a reduced cost because the commission understood that was an investment in so many young people's future. Understanding that Pike County has, I believe it's 2 of the top 10 schools in the state that falls into this high of pregnancy rate of students that needs, again, and I'll say within the U-Pike, I think it is more proper to say that within the U-Pike service area, 2 of the top 10 schools, one being, I know, in Pike County. So it gives these students and these young folks an opportunity. On Monday, we cut the ribbon. The Scholar House, and I have the distinct pleasure with myself and Judge Rutherford's another board member that we serve from the inception of this project. And what this has done with the opening of the Scholar House is there's 42, and again, numbers sometimes I'm pretty good with, but some things don't stick, but 40 some units. It's half full right now. We started taking applications a couple of months ago. It is half full. There's several new prospects that are applying. You actually go through the Pikeville Housing Authority is actually who manages the facility. It's another partner that's at the table. But the ribbon was cut in celebration of what this has brought to this community, what it's brought, and it's not just for the university. It's for, again, if a student wants to attend the Big Sandia Community Technical College, they're a partner in this also, which can be a feeder school to UPike as well. So a lot of wonderful projects, a great story. During the ribbon cutting, we had a young, it was portrayed in the Appalachian News Express that was just released, but a 31-year-old student that recently went through a divorce, had some very turbulent times, had a couple of kids, and you can read the story for yourself, but since it was told publicly out, her mother, right after her husband left her with 2 kids, and wasn't able to pursue a college education. Her mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. She had breast cancer. And living through all those tough experiences, she decided to take a major step. She found the brochure, made a phone call, made a contact with Sam that week, and she has now just completed her first semester of college. So again, there wasn't a dry eye in the house as the story was told the other day, but this is why that this project was such a great project, and why so many wonderful partners, and why that I felt like it deserved some time today to explain the importance of not only the beautiful facility, but what this means to these young people in our community.
And to have it in our community is such a positive thing that, we talk about a lot of developments and people coming into our area to do certain things, but what a wonderful opportunity that is being provided for these young men and young women, that they will have a place to stay, they will have a place to raise their children, and then be able to get their education to provide for that child later in life. It's a wonderful opportunity. And again, if you know someone who might be in that situation, all you have to do is contact Sam May. She will, Samantha Rogers. All she will have to do is you just get the information from her, and she will certainly point you in the right direction. Again, a great facility, wonderful opportunity.
It is.
We talk about it being right there on the landscape of Hambley Boulevard, and how that corridor that we have, that we use so much, it's such a high trafficked area, gets. And with the theater coming, the downtown renovations that are taking place, the Expo Center, City Hall, the university, when you pull off of 23, either direction, north or south that you're coming, whichever exit you're using, 22 or 23, whichever, the beautification of that street of Hambley Boulevard is something that we do want to mention that quickly this morning, because UMG does a great job with the flower baskets and the planters that you see. One of the reasons that so many people come to Pikeville on the weekends for Muscle on Main, for the carriage rides, for everything that goes on, because it really is a different look than you're going to see anywhere else.
Well, it's very humbling to have outlining communities call you and ask you, or to brag upon your community and how beautiful your downtown area is, and then ask you, where can I get those hanging baskets?
I know a lot of residents in the city of Pikeville want to call and say, where can I get those? Is there a greenhouse that you have that I can go buy those, because they are so beautiful?
Well, and you know, the response, unfortunately I get a sigh afterwards, but the city, we have our own greenhouse. And again, the commission taking what happened with the Main Street program, again, back in 2003, 2004. When I came on board in 2004, they were at the point of all the streets were being ripped up, all the new poles were putting downtown. I mean, a lot of work took place at the end of 2003 and then through 2004. And with all the new street lights being placed downtown, and all the new sidewalk repairs and benches and the big gigantic flower pots, we were purchasing a lot of those plants through distributors, and it's fairly expensive to do so.
You think?
It is.
It's a lot of flowers.
It's surprising.
It is mind-boggling when you start to think about the number of flowers that are there. Even if you buy from a distributor and probably get a different kind of rate, but it is very expensive.
It is extremely so. So the commission made an inquiry and said, what can we do to lower that expense, as we were going through the budget at one time. And so a hoop house, which is a greenhouse, was put in.
I've never heard that.
That's my Olo's days.
A hoop
it's
house.
called a hoop house because it's made as a
Right.
hoop. But the hoop house was created up at Bob Amos Park, and we were growing some plants there, but not a lot. And the decision was made, well, we can do this better, because at that time we had good-looking hanging baskets, but they weren't what they are today.
Right.
So we went up where the Public Works Center is, and we doubled our hoop house size, and we started growing our plants all in-house. And they are nurtured through the winter months, and as you can see, they're watered if you get out early in the morning as you're coming into work, you'll see the water truck out. So, I mean, UMG just does an absolutely wonderful job taking all the hard work that went into all the streetscaping and then enhancing that by the implementation of our garden program. And of course, last week was when we made the entry and introduced this year's new variety of hanging baskets. So again, I had somebody just Facebooked me 2 or 3 days ago and wanted. It was last Friday's when it was, because they wanted to buy one for Mother's Day to give to their family or to their mom. So. Beautiful.
Maybe we could triple the size of our hoop house, as you call it, and maybe we could start selling them. I'm just saying, it's a thought.
It never can tell what can happen next year.
You never know what's going to happen. But it is beautiful, and if you have the opportunity to drive downtown, you certainly can see. And I can vouch from the UMG workers are out early in the morning making sure those plants are watered. Now, we are in the week of May 15th right now when we're recording our show, but it is National Peace Officers Memorial Day. And, we've seen in the past couple of weeks, we've lost state troopers in Alaska, I believe, maybe in Florida. I may be misspeaking, but I know there was another area that lost one of their police officers. And it's a time when we really do give tribute and want to pay our respects to those people, because they do so much for us, and they really don't ever get the recognition and the gratitude that they so deserve.
Absolutely. And this morning, our our honor guard with our police department gave tribute again. Just it was a wonderful ceremony this morning.
Yeah.
8 o'clock this morning, the fire department, the police department brought their vehicles in down at the police department, and our honor guard presented arms and tribute to those fallen officers by the raising of the flag and then lowering it to half mast. And you can come on the city's Facebook page today. The pictures will be out to see that ceremony. But it's these guys. In the history of Pikeville's police department, we've had one fallen officer in the line of duty. Which we're very blessed in that fact.
Yeah.
So not only give tribute and honor to that officer, but also around this great country. And there is a recent memorial that was placed by the county that we participated in the ceremony of the fallen officers. But again, a great tribute this week, and we ask for people in our community to give, take a moment of silence and remember those brave young men and women that are not only in our military, but those that protect our cities, protect our streets, protect our counties by putting their lives on the line each and every day. And this is a week to give tribute not only to those officers, but remembrance to the families for giving all in order to protect and to serve and to make sure that our communities and streets are safe.
Not only this week, but always. And I do want to mention in that, with our veterans too, I always think about when we have these type of weeks that we honor. Of course, we have Veterans Day and Memorial Day and that sort of thing, but I think it's always important when you see a veteran, and remember that veterans are not always your older gentlemen and older women that have served, but there's a lot of young people who have gone and served, who have given so much, and we tend to forget that. Not that it's an intentional thing, but just we remember on those certain days. But I think it's very important that not only we remember our officers here, but also our veterans too. Which leads me to something that I'm very excited about, and someone who I think he is a veteran, and he is very close to us. Actually, he's just over my left shoulder, I think, right now. But we have a new tourism and new director going to be joining the city's workforce. That is Ronnie Hilton, and he is going to be over our river trail system. Could not be more happy for Ronnie. I know you're looking at him. I'm going to flip and look at him in just a second, but I'll tell you, could not be more excited for this young man, this gentleman who is just a complete class act, to join the city and to be part of a river trail system that I love, that I know he loves, and he is one of the best fishermen I've ever known.
Well, and if you don't believe it, just ask him. He'll tell you.
He'll show you.
And he'll show you.
He can back it up. It's one thing to say, oh, I'm a really good fisherman, but when you see like these massive bass that he catches and makes his own flies and all that sort of thing, I mean, I'm telling you, he can back it up.
It's big stuff, and I'm looking at. He's the face behind the camera. You don't get to see on camera.
You might even lean up and look at me.
He's waving.
Here he is.
We're honored and to have Ronnie coming on board. He'll be leaving Pike TV. Unfortunately, Ronnie was on board at the inception of Pike TV.
Yes, he was. I remember the day he started.
And he started with no experience in the television business, and has become a tremendous part of the success of the station. Made many changes to bring up the quality and how we present the station, and just a class act guy. And as you mentioned, he is a veteran. He has served his country in the military, and we're just very blessed and very honored to have him coming over to the city's team and serving in a different capacity. Yeah. Recently, we lost one of our employees. We've kind of elevated that position of the director of from a director of events to the new position will be the executive director of events. And the reason that's the change is because we're actually splitting off tourism from events. And Larry McGoy is the executive director of tourism. Ronnie will be the executive director of events. And what I mean by events is that there'll be some attractions that take place, like Hillbilly Christmas in July events in the park and those type of things that Ronnie will kind of oversee, but with his main focus on the river trails and preparing the river trails for either our new partner that may be hopefully coming next year, or working directly with launching the river trails this year and really bringing them up to a different level of what we want to see. And what I mean by that is cleaning up the river. We're working on some tire removals. The river has been named as the Blue Water Trail. There's a lot of species of fish in there, but it creating fishing opportunities, creating again a river trails opportunity to expand that. It comes in conjunction with the zip line and horse trails and all the other stuff that's going on. It's going to be a major part of our tourism for this region. So Ronnie, if you don't know Ronnie, you can look in his truck outside as it came in. He's got a kayak in it. And
Yep.
he hits the trails every day. He understands the hydraulics, the water. He understands all these components, and he's going to be a great asset.
I don't know that there would have been a more perfect person for that position. I've learned a lot from him. I love to fish. We
Yes.
love to hit the river, and I always am asking Ronnie, where's the best spot? Where to go. But certainly excited for him. Hate to lose him at Pike TV, but certainly going to be a great addition to your staff and an excellent
Yep.
executive director of events, Ronnie Hilton. Look for him around. You can see him.
Well, he will, and one door closes, another opens. So Ronnie's walking through a new door, and then for Pike TV, there'll be a new posting opportunity for people to apply for an opening that's coming available there. So again, good stuff happening.
Good stuff. We have got a lot to get to in a very short amount of time, so we're going to move quickly through a few different announcements and updates. Just bear with me. University groundbreaking going to be on Friday on Sycamore at 11:30.
The new optometry school. Again, Jill, there is so many projects that's taking place. There's some major announcements, which we'll talk about here in a moment, that I'll get to, but a lot of wonderful things happening. The new optometry school is going to be a new addition to the community. We're going to enhance the landscape. Again, we'll be located across from the Hampton Inn and beside Record Memorial. So you'll have the medical building on the right-hand side of Record Memorial in the middle where Booth Auditorium is, most people know the connector, and then on the left-hand side, the new optometry school. This is going to be a magnificent facility, again, bringing in 240 new students, 120 new jobs into the market. Work is moving very quickly for the optometry school, and the celebration of the start of this project will be on Friday up on Sycamore Street, so at the top of the 99. I regretfully will be unable to be there, but a couple of the mayor has to be out of town also. Both of us have business trips planned, but Mayor Pro Tem Jimmy Carter will be there to speak on behalf of the city. We're partnering with the university. The way the funding will be achieved will be the city will be acting as the conduit to help the university get the funding, and then we'll be working with them on the utilities and all the other components that we have to have and the right-of-ways in order for the new building to be built. So, again, it's a great initiative led by Dr. Hurley. He done an absolutely amazing job at bringing this new facility with the help of Governor Patton, but just another major announcement for our great community.
Another update that we want to give where construction is completely underway and you can see exactly what the building is going to look like is our beautiful new fire station. And what date are we giving for that to be open? It has to be pretty soon.
In July.
Okay.
First part of July. There's a few components left, but it's very rapidly nearing completion.
Very nice addition. We spoke about this briefly during our last taping of our show, but the zip line is coming. I know the gentleman that has zip lines everywhere, seems like, has been in our region. I saw pictures on Facebook where he is selecting the trees for the platforms and the zip lines to be constructed. The one thing that we do want to tell everybody, he's in China. Or is it Russia?
And that's part of the update for today. Yes and no.
Okay.
He was in Russia last week, I think it was. And again, it's one of those things you can't hold me to. But here's where we're at with the zip line. A lot of people interested, and I'm excited about it too. It's going to be a great addition to the community.
I did ask I asked Sean Cochran if I could be one of the first people to test it out.
Well,
He said, yeah, we need all kinds of guinea pigs.
Well, I was going to say, usually they test with a dummy, and I said, well, I guess that puts me right in line
there.
too. So I'm with you. And what's happened now is again, he's got a contract signed with Russia and with China. Russia, because of the current issue going on in Russia, the area to where this will be built, Russia government has announced that they're revoking all visas to travel to the area.
Oh my goodness!
So they have called him and have told him that they're going to have to put it on the back burner for a couple of months. So he was in last week, met with him again, looking at the tree marks, and again, pursuant to the contract that we have signed with him, he is mandated to start on or before the 1st of September and open on or before the 1st of October. The key word is on or before, and I'll stress before, meaning that if the issue doesn't work out with Russia, which it looks like it's not right now, he'll be prolonging that, then what he said is that he will be coming to Pikeville earlier. So it appears that he may be here in either June or July.
Oh goodness, so that means the zip line will open even sooner.
It's a 30 to 45 day process for him to build. So if he starts in June, you're talking about, again, a July opening, July or August opening.
In the middle of tourism season.
So things are maybe, and he said, don't hold me to this, and he said, don't publicly announce it. But again, I told him as the government, we want to be transparent and let people know what's going on. But it'll be open definitely by October, but possibly even much sooner than that.
Going to be very exciting.
Good
very,
stuff.
very exciting. Yeah, good stuff. More good stuff coming. The theater is just about completed. Like I said, we talk a lot about what's going on Haley Boulevard, but when you drive down through there, you see so many different things. We've talked about the Scholar House. We've talked about the baskets. We've talked about the optometry school. The theater is going to be open in the next couple of weeks.
We're not done.
Well, we're not done yet, I know, but if you could drive past, swing by. You know, if you want to come down and drive past Hambley or see the building, it's right there. You cannot miss it, right across from the police station. So that's exciting. Terrace seating.
Before you leave, the 22nd of this month.
That's when?
Is the opening of the theater.
Yeah.
Anybody that would like to come, it's not a production. They're going to have some small productions, but it's kind of a walkthrough deal. It won't be a seated event, but it's a ticketed event. You can log on to Jenny Wiley Theater's website, and if you're interested in attending the very first event, so history is being set, May 22nd, log on to their website and you can buy tickets.
I like that. Be part of history.
History.
Very good. Something else a lot of people are excited about, and I know too, I've witnessed some of these events last year, the arm drop drag racing. It's hard to say, but the terrace sitting project too, where we're going to be able to watch those, that's underway.
Well, I'm very excited. It's underway. Projected completion date is in July. There was a
July. I keep hearing July over and over again.
Well, they ran into yesterday actually a buried AT&T line that was not on the plan, so they weren't aware it was there. So we're now frantically getting up with working with Amy Scarsberry, who's a friend of mine downstate, but working with her on trying to get the line quickly removed so it doesn't delay the project. But if you go over to the Riverfield, you'll see the stairways that's been built, and the seating will feed off the stairway. Now, one question that has been out there for a while, Jill, that I'll make this announcement again today. It'll be put on our Facebook page later, probably today or tomorrow. But when we put the posting on Facebook, trying to get people updates of what's going on, there was a lot of question that when the arm drop drag racing event starts, that they're assuming that this will be a ticketed event and the city will be charging for those seats. The couple of the commissioners brought that again to my attention Monday. So the commission officially announced Monday that there will be no fee, no charge to attend these events. Those seats are being built for the community. The arm drop drag racing is just one component of these seating. And what I mean by one component is that the intent is to have the event once a month from May through October. That's one weekend a month. So there's 3 weekends a month that there'll be other events scheduled there. Some of those events may be ticketed. For example, if the Art of Collaborative Theater decides they want to do an event, we may work a deal out with them, and they may ticket for an event in order to help pay for production costs. But the arm drop racing was our catalyst because there are so many thousands of people that come out that love this event. This year it's going to be bigger and better. We're working on deals to where we're going to have food vendors there. The Expo Center may end up playing, and it will continue to grow. But because of the construction, we're kind of, the first couple of months, it'll be limited, understanding that this event will continue to grow. But the seating venue itself, all the nice new seats, it'll hold 2,500 people. First 2,500 that show up will get a seat. It'll be a free event. We are not ticketing. We want the community. The commission wants the community. You know, our park systems are free. Our shelters we charge $1 for. This event is free admission, and the intent is to bring people out and let them have quality of life, good attractions, fun things to do, and have an experience. So again, just want to make that very clear because there were several Facebook posts when we put the first Facebook posting up people questioning and assuming
Right.
that it will be a charged event, but it will not be.
It will not be.
we'll just
Absolutely free.
Make sure people know that or understand it.
Excellent. Roasted, our new downtown coffee house and cafe, they are set to open on May 23rd.
23rd is our projected opening date. Things are moving along. They have partnered, or will be, I won't say partnering, I will say carrying. The same thing with the Expo Center. And so that we don't run out of time, because I don't want to hurry this, I'm going to put another big teaser out there, Jill. And out of all the stuff you've heard us talk about today, a lot of wonderful things are happening. Optometry school, new retail development getting ready to open, zip line going to open, River Trail Partners happened, terrace seating taking place, Scholar House just doing ribbon cutting. This community is moving forward and changing forever, and the landscape is changing. New jobs are being created, opportunity. I'm going to throw a little teaser out there. I cannot announce it. What I will say is this. I am traveling next week, actually Sunday. I'll be going to Alltech. Alltech has their 30th annual symposium. And this isn't the announcement. I'm putting a teaser so people can kind of tie it together, because I'm under a confidentiality agreement right now. But I will be attending that conference next week, or symposium, Alltech's 30th year symposium. I have been working with Dr. Lyons for the past several months. I've been at his headquarters. He has been here. Matter of fact, he was here last week. A lot of folks saw us over at Bank 253, sitting down. Alltech is a multi-billion-dollar Kentucky-based company. They have offices all over the world. They're very heavy in agriculture business. If you're used to traveling through Winchester, right before you get on the Mountain Parkway, you can look over to your left-hand side coming back from Lexington, and you'll see Alltech's name on their algae facility there. They have a tremendous presence in Lexington, and obviously headquartered in Nicholasville. They have a distillery and a brewery in Lexington town center. They have a Kentucky Ale as their brand. A lot of people realize that. It is distilled in old bourbon barrels, a lot of history. So you can kind of get online and understand what this company does. So I'm excited to attend the symposium next week. What I will say is that if those people that would be interested in the symposium, I would be listening sometime around Monday for a major announcement that will be put out to the community.
Monday.
Monday.
The 19th.
Monday the 19th.
Yes, the day before Election Day.
The day before Election Day, there will be several announcements made out of Alltech, but one huge announcement that will have a major impact in Eastern Kentucky, I will say.
In our area.
In our area. Now, let me go away from that and say that I'm starting a new discussion. And what I will say with that new discussion is you just mentioned the theater, you just mentioned the coffee shop, and you just mentioned the university. In that parameter, things are changing in a huge way. Mm-hmm. So I think that this community is going to be extremely pleased. And what I'm happy, what I will say is that this is the first leg, and that's why I think people need to continue to listen to what is to follow. And I would also suspect that there will probably in the near future be some kind of announcement, not only in Lexington at the symposium, but also something here that will piggyback off of that in Pikeville. So that's a heck of a teaser. But I want to thank once again the City Commission and their role in allowing me to do some of these things that I've been able to do recently. And it's not just about these wonderful announcements about terrace seating and about an $8 million bridge that we're putting to, with the help of Representative Combs, that we're able to put towards Marion's Branch. The City Commission is working their plan. There are huge things happening, great movement moving forward that I'm extremely grateful, humbled, and honored to be part of. And I know this community is going to be absolutely delighted as of to where we're heading.
When you say big things are coming in that parameter you're talking about, you're not joking.
I'm not joking.
It is.
People are going to be surprised.
It is going to change things for a very long time.
I have been biting my tongue for so long, and unfortunately I can't wait till Tuesday of next week, not because it's just Election Day, but because I'm able to finally openly talk about what is getting ready to happen to our great city.
This is just one more reason that you have cities from all over the state of Kentucky and in other states even, that people that travel through call you and say, what are you doing in Pikeville, Kentucky? What is happening there? Who is responsible for this? That's a pretty simple answer.
I 100% agree. The City Commission has created a comprehensive plan. They have worked their comprehensive plan. These guys have vision. I'm honored.
Thinking outside the box.
And willing, and you'll see, when you talk about thinking outside the box, wait till Tuesday. Because there is some things that, and again, this is just one step. I had to, I'm going to back up again about the symposium, so I got to be careful how I separate those things. But I was on the phone this morning. I was actually, as you know, I was late for the taping.
Just a few minutes late.
But I was talking to Dr. Lyons again. Dr. Lyons was in the community this week. He and his lovely wife, Deidre. For those that may not realize, both of them are PhDs. Deidre does actually all the architectural work and design work for every Alltech project.
Really?
Yes, she. Dr. Lyons' son, who's also a PhD, is the head of the Alltech division over in China. He lives in Beijing, speaks fluent Mandarin. Very, very unique family and great people. And I'm honored to call them my friends. And Dr. Lyons is a great supporter of the University of Pikeville. Also, he and Dr. Hurley are running buddies. And again, Dr. Lyons is an amazing story about who he is, from Ireland, and just a great. I'm very honored to have met them and have the relationship, but I'll be more honored to.
We may do a show next week. We
may have to.
Well, you're going to be gone for a little bit, but as soon as you get back.
I'll be back on Wednesday.
We'll be talking about it.
Actually, I'll be back Tuesday evening. I got to come and vote first.
You do have to come and vote, absolutely. Don't forget to vote on the 20th also. Quickly, the red light right there at the bottom of the 99, construction has begun there. There might be a little bit of congestion there for a little bit, but there's a reason that we're taking care of that. So just be patient.
$130,000 new grant given to the city on behalf of the Transportation Cabinet, and it'll really fix up those ugly sagging poles. You won't see lines anymore. Great project.
Going to be beautiful. Now there is a new project starting soon at the bypass at the end of Combs Bridge.
That project, a lot of people are asking me why there's a fence up. That's owned actually by Childers Oil. They are in the process, or will soon be starting a new convenience store that will be locating there. I've worked with Don Childers a couple of years ago. The city used to own that property. We did a property swap. So again, just another great amenity of convenience on this side of town, on the City Hall side of town, is where this new facility will be locating. So it'll be starting soon as well.
Couple things quickly before we run out of time. In a minute, 1 minute almost exactly. Arts House Business After Hours, that is tonight. This is on Thursday, so that's going to be from 5 to 7. Carolyn Tackett, Director of the Year. Congratulations to her.
We went to Commission honored her this past Monday.
Right.
Look on the Facebook page, you'll see the pictures, but great lady. Does a wonderful job for our seniors.
And there will be no commission meeting on the 26th, but a special meeting on the 23rd. Want to make sure everybody knows that. And two, know that those commission meetings, they're open to the public.
Absolutely. We invite everybody. The 26th, as everybody knows, is Memorial Day, and we are closed. City Hall will be closed on Monday. That's our traditional regular meeting. So the commission, we've got so much work going on, we couldn't cancel the meeting, so we backed it up to the 23rd. And would also mention that the 23rd is also the City Commission's budget workshop that will start at 2 o'clock at City Hall. So again, those workshops are open to the public if you want to attend, where the commission will go through the budget for the new fiscal year, which will start in July. So a lot of wonderful things happening.
Lots of things we've covered in 1 hour. We've got about 20 seconds, so we'll recap. Drive past Thompson Road, that development completely underway. Hobby Lobby going to be open before Christmas. Marshall's going to be open before Christmas. That is wonderful. And next Monday, look for big announcements to be made. That will be the 19th. Lots of great things coming to our area, Donovan.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Thanks, Jill.
This has been the Pikeville City Manager's Report. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time.